My husband's ex-girlfriend is ill and wants him to be her in-home nurse. Who's that calling? Oh, hey, it's complicated. I already know I'm not gonna know what to say about this. This story came October 18th, 2025. You know what we say, it's hot off the press. So I am 35 female and my husband is 39 male. We have been married for 5 years. Before marrying me, he was with his high school sweetheart for a decade. Apparently they had compatibility issues and they lost contact. Now his ex has kidney failure and is on dialysis and has come to our city for treatment. And according to my husband, she contacted my husband through a mutual friend. And now my husband wants to help her. Very politely, I had asked my husband, does she not have her own people to help nurse her? Why contact him all of a sudden after these years? My husband was pissed and said, how can I be so petty and immature regarding a patient asking such stupid questions, and that he expects better from me? Then I said, if the situation is so dire, then let's get her a place in our flat or in another locality. And if you are so adamant, then let's finance her nursing facility. What is the need of getting personally involved like being an at-home nurse? I don't want to get involved in personally nursing his ex or in her medical recovery process in person, nor do I want to go to see her in a hospital with him. And my husband said he's just disappointed in me that I am showing jealousy over a long-ended relationship and cannot show maturity even with a patient. So, am I the a-hole? Where are we at, you guys, in this situation? What are our initial thoughts? We have a lot more details and updates coming our way, and I think that will provide some more perspective. So let's start. This OOP was in the comments section, and she was coming in hot, all right? Someone commented, something is fishy about the response, kind of sounds like gaslighting. Not sure I have enough context for a judgment, but he's asking a lot of you to bring one of his exes into your home. It could be because in writing that your offer to help in other ways sounded sarcastic, but I still feel his response is rather strong for him making a big ask of you. I would possibly ask the same question, but understand that you are not obligated to say yes. Next comment. Did he really say that he wanted his ex to move in? OOP responded saying, yes, he did. He said it will be better if she is in close up. I don't know. I just feel uncomfortable. I am not accusing him of anything, nor do I have anything against that woman, but I feel sick. Next comment. I feel the ex is trying to find a kidney donor. OOP responded saying, not really. She has a donor, and if she wished, she could have got on some other shelter, but I don't know why she had to come into my life. I just need a lot more details before I make any kind of judgment. This is a complicated situation. Next comment. If the ex has a donor, why isn't the surgery taking place? OOP responded saying they had some issues related to blood antibodies. That is what my husband told me. Next comment. Not the a-hole. This is not jealousy. It sounds like he wants to be the hero and take her in, but do none of the actual work. Also, it is inappropriate. This is his ex and they don't even know each other anymore. I would die on this hill. If he brings her to your home against your will, you should leave to stay with family or friends. I bet he gets a nurse or gets her out real quick when he has to do the caretaking. And the fact he just decided this, expecting the OP to just take on this kind of work, is crazy of him. Stand your ground, OP. You're going to be fine if you do. OOP responded. Exactly. He said this with a poker face that he would want me to nurse. Like what? I don't know if I even recognize my husband anymore. I dated this man for 4 years and I've been married to him for 5, and we have 2 little 3-year-olds, and he is angry with me for not wanting to see his ex in the hospital and not wanting to nurse her. I think it's very unreasonable for him to not understand her side on this, in the sense of it's uncomfortable. That would be so uncomfortable. Next comment, is your husband a nurse? If she's dying and he wants to visit her, what's the big deal? At the end of one's life, it is not uncommon to want to reach out to old friends or family for closure. I don't really understand the jealousy and outrage. This feels like a massive overreaction. Has he been unfaithful before? All right, this is interesting. So they're coming at it from a very different perspective. OOP responded to that, saying, what kind of selfish and entitled demand it is to expect a married man to suddenly get involved in your mess, leaving everything behind. Being an emotional support tool, caretaking in person whenever you are vulnerable, all of these emotionally intimate things are exclusive to one's spouse. I would have been outraged even if it was a platonic female friend in the picture, let alone an ex with whom one had sexual and emotional intimacy with. Do you want me to play a third wheel in my own marriage? OP is not having it. You know, you went on Reddit and asked for people's opinions, but I don't know if you're liking them very much. Next comment. Is she asking for him to take care of her, or is she just checking that she's in the area and he can just stop by and visit? If she's asking you to put her up and give her a place to stay, inappropriate. If she's asking for a visit, you are overreacting. They were together for a decade. He will always be family. OOP said back to that, she is asking him to take care of her in person. She expects him to be by her side during medical checkups. It is not an outrageous demand. Where does this entitlement come from? And the family BS? You don't become a family to someone after a decade of no contact. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Very interesting. It has been over a decade since they have talked. Okay, that's interesting. When you have broken up, things are done now. The other party does not owe you anything. If you were such an inseparable family, you should not have taken a divorce to begin with. And the most important thing is, I am not obliged to put up with this. She will always be a family. I have always preferred no contact and no mingling side. Okay, so I feel like OOP doesn't even need to ask if she's the a-hole. I think she knows in her heart, like, no one's gonna convince her that she's overreacting at this point. I don't know if she's taking everyone's side, but we do have an update, and it came the next day. I tried to have another conversation with my husband, and my parents are soon visiting my house, but I don't think we have made any progress. I talked pretty politely, and I said that it is very unfair to me and my boys, I have 2 3-year-old twins, that he is willing to be an emotional support tool to an ex and is so hell-bent to be at her side. Caring about acquaintances is a different thing, but issuing things like being an emotional support tool, a caretaker, all of this should be exclusive to one's spouse. And issuing it to any third party, even if it is platonic female friend, will be the foundation stone of an emotional affair, let alone issuing it to an ex. He told me that it is tragic that I don't trust him even after being together for 9 years. Again, they've dated for 4, married for 5, and accusing him of having an affair. It is natural for people to care about their loved ones, acquaintances, especially when they are sick, and being an emotional support tool, being a caretaker, and being at one person's side is the bare minimum one can do and does not automatically translate into an emotional affair. And he said it is sad that I am so narrow-minded that I am taking offense in him being personally involved in his ex. So you guys are on very different pages for this. You quite literally see it as the opposite of each other. Ideally, I too should have volunteered to help his ex, visited her, consoled her, and shown her empathy instead of being an insecure person. I said back to him, I am not negating the fact that we should help a sick person, and we can get nurses and doctors involved and assist financially. But you offering emotional intimacy to her does not go down my throat. He once again said, tossing just money to a sick person is so cold-hearted on my part, and a patient needs to see that people are available for her. To which I said, I am not obliged to be available for her, nor are you. Nobody will blame you for not taking responsibility of your ex's life troubles. He cut me in between and said what a selfish take and how he will be selfish to not respond properly to a person asking for help. Then one of my twins woke up and our conversation ended. I mean, I think it's very generous that you're willing to financially help in this situation. No? I at least thought the husband would acknowledge, like, wow, you would set her up in a facility and financially support her treatments? Is that not a nice thing to offer? Anyways, we have some additional information from OOP in the comment section. She kind of added an edit to the post later on. I would like to share my reflections and lessons. Emotional infidelity is real. Do not let anyone convince you that being someone else's caretaker or emotional anchor is simply helping. When your partner begins to show up for someone else in ways that belong within your relationship, it becomes emotional cheating. It starts quietly under the label of compassion, but it erodes trust just as surely as any affair. Illness does not erase boundaries. I have sympathy for anyone who is unwell, but compassion does not mean allowing someone to disregard the limits of your marriage. Being sick does not make a person's motives pure, and pain does not grant them moral permission to cross into another person's life. And just because a person is ill, it does not mean their intentions are pure or that they automatically become nice humans. You can be kind and still say no. I offered fair and humane alternatives, such as arranging professional nursing care and contributing financially. He wanted personal involvement, the kind that blurred emotional lines, and that was never acceptable. Refusing such involvement is not cruelty, it is clarity. Boundaries protect dignity. You can show empathy without surrendering your self-respect. It is not selfish to insist on peace within your own home. The people who call it insecurity often fail to understand that boundaries are the foundation of mutual respect. Affiliation with exes is a danger zone no matter how many years have passed. Feelings can resurface anytime. In fact, nostalgia and distance make things way more of a slippery slope. In my case, it is 1 decade. You cannot stop cheaters from cheating, but you can save yourself from being a pawn who is being played. And the most important thing, people, please be financially independent and keep your financial affiliations as independent as possible. The only relief I have in this mess is that I earn a good amount of money and I have side ventures. I have a few side ventures that help keep me financially stable and mentally occupied. I co-own a small academic editing service with 2 colleagues from the department where we review research papers and grant proposals for independent scholars. It started casually during the lockdown and now runs steadily, bringing in a decent secondary income. I also rent out a small studio flat. The rent covers most of the expenses related to my boys. My salary as a professor, damn, okay. Tell me you're rich without telling me. I mean, good for you. No shade. Make that money. Also, being a professor, couldn't be me. You earn that salary, baby. My salary as a professor covers the essentials, but the side ventures keep me secure. They allow me to make decisions without fear of losing footing. That is the one thing this entire experience has reaffirmed. Independence is not only emotional, it is structural. I love that she went to Reddit for advice and now she's in the comments giving people life advice. I don't think she needs advice. I honestly feel like she knows how she feels, but maybe is looking for reassurance in her decision and her way of thinking. Do you guys agree with this? I think it's quite a claim to say that it's just an emotional affair or would become an affair, but it's such a strange and unique and difficult situation. I can't say that I would be comfortable with my partner's ex living in our home. Like, living in our home is one thing, and then becoming their full-time caretaker. Like, you have twins at home. Like, that would be such a strange and unique dynamic in the household. Yeah. Okay. We got more updates though. But first, my cup is filled today. I did not forget. We are hopping on hydration station. Drink your water. Cheers. Burn update. So basically it has just been scabbing and then peeling and like flaking off and then scabbing again. And then, yeah, it's just been a cycle. I didn't realize how intense this burn was. Very much not a hickey, like I said. Yeah, it's itchy. You know, when it starts to scab and something becomes really itchy, but you can't itch it because then you peel the skin. It's in the itchy phase right now. Any tips on healing burns? I have bio oil, which people have suggested is really good for burns and scarring, but any other suggestions, I will take them. The next update came October 26th, 2025, and it was 1 week later. It feels as if centuries have passed in mere 7 days. A lot has happened, and I feel kind of numb and dumb. So, as most of you expected, my husband and I are getting divorced. Okay, I actually didn't expect that. I expected that if he, in fact, moved her in without your consent. Okay, this is, wow, in 7 days? Okay, his ex, who has kidney failure and is on dialysis, did not reach out only because she needed help. She reached out because she wanted him back. What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Her illness is real. Okay. You had me convinced for a second that she was faking an illness. And I was like, that's cuckoo bonkers. No, her illness is real, but her intentions were not. She eventually admitted that to me directly, and she was quite blatant in this regard. Maybe her illness has made her irritable and scornful, but that is how it was. Right now, I feel strangely calm. It is not unexpected, but I'm still unable to process that a man can leave a relationship of 1 decade with 2 kids like this with 0 visible regret. My parents are with me, helping me stay steady for my twin boys who just turned 3. They are too young to understand what is happening, but they help keep me grounded. Hold on. Did he ask for the divorce? So she admitted that yes, her illness is real, she wants his help, but that feelings are there and she would like him back. And now your husband also wants this divorce? After everything came to light, my husband admitted that she was the one who ended their relationship years ago because she thought he lacked drive and stability. And he said he never really got over her. Seeing her again, fragile, vulnerable, and remorseful, reopened old feelings that he had never dealt with. So when he got mad at you for the possibility of him having an emotional affair, some could say that he was. He has feelings for her again. Okay. I actually met her by coincidence 3 days ago. My husband had been visiting the hospital frequently, and one afternoon he forgot his insurance file, which also contained some of our joint investment papers. Since I was disentangling things from him in the background while waiting for my parents to come and give my marriage a last chance, I had gone to collect it from the administrative office at the dialysis unit. The dialysis unit was tucked in a quieter wing separated from the main outpatient block. Outside, the renal chamber waiting area was attached. I was standing there waiting for the administrative office to bring out the insurance file when she appeared with a nurse. She recognized me right away, and before I even could introduce myself, I told the nurse to give us room for a moment. The nurse was hesitant in leaving an immune-compromised person, but she insisted on a couple of minutes of privacy, and then she asked me, "You are husband's wife, right?" I said, "Yeah." She asked me to sit down for a moment. And then she said, "I was planning to bring this up gradually to you, but it is better we met here. I guess today or tomorrow, you have to know this. There ain't any use beating around the bush." So I will come straight to the point. I know you probably think I'm intruding, but I never stopped loving him. I was like, what the actual... No way it is real, and in reality, she was married to another man for a while who I guess passed away in some accident. So it is not like she was just some cinematic protagonist spending her life single pining for my jerk of a husband as she was sounding. I was the one who ended things, and I regret it deeply. I just want to be with him again, even if it's only for whatever time I have left. I swear to Almighty, sitting above 7 heavens, I am not exaggerating a single word. These were her exact words. I left the file counter without saying anything. In the side corridor near the elevator lobby, I would have burst into violent sobs had nurses and other people not been moving there too. When I got home and I told my husband what had happened, he did not deny it. He said he could not help how he felt and that being around her made him realize he still loved her. At this point, I did not think I had anything else left to say. I am now a single mother of twin boys, and honestly, I am fine. I earn much more than my husband, and the house we live in is entirely my property. The apartment is in the Southern Academic District, not far from the old university campus where I teach. It is a 3-bedroom flat on the 4th floor of a quiet residential block. I bought it 7 years ago when I was promoted to associate professor, using my savings and part of a research grant I had received for curriculum development. When this all came to light, I asked him to leave, and he did. It was not a dramatic fight. I told him calmly that if his heart was with her, that is where he should go. There is no legal obstacle in it. He had contributed little to the mortgage or maintenance, and the property was always mine. He did try to bring up that we are intertwined on other financial fronts. And honestly, even if it is partial entanglement, what complicates things now are the shared investments and educational funds that we set up for our twin boys. We have a joint mutual fund account, a children's saving bond, and a small commercial investment in a co-working space near the railway junction. The co-working space investment is another area of dispute. Although the capital came from me, the business registration lists both our names for tax convenience, which was his idea only. I gotta be honest, you are speaking a language I don't understand. I'm not even gonna try. This is adulting in means that I have not met, and I may never. Now he's attempting to claim half the profits from the current lease cycle. My lawyer has filed for a forensic accounting review to prove the monetary trail originates from my personal savings. This is looking exhausting in theory only, and there are a few more entanglements that will be too much to type and not forget the legal proceedings of divorce, which we have not started yet, and not to forget all the custody stuff. We're going back to the comment section because she was once again answering some questions. Someone commented, I'm not sure what the laws are where you reside, but does he have claim to half of your earnings since you make more than him? He's in for a rude awakening when he realizes the fairy tale love story is nothing but that. A fairy tale. The fog he's under will eventually lift and his pathetic self will come crawling back to the safety net you have built for him. He is still a loser and his ex most likely will figure that out soon enough if she doesn't pass away before that happens. Oh, that's a wee bit harsh. A wee bit harsh. This is just an uncomfortable subject to talk about, to be honest. But also remember the people in the comment section who were saying that she was overreacting. Who is overreacting now? OOP responded to that, said, no alimony laws don't work like that here in my country. He would not have any claim on my hard-earned money. It is just the investments we have done together or the financial fronts where we are entangled is a mess and that will take time to be sorted properly. I will be putting an update when I am done handling these things. Next comment. Wow, the dying ex is a trash human, but your soon-to-be ex is one as well. I guarantee that after she passes and he grieves, he will try to crawl back. Screw that. Out of curiosity, do you guys have mutual friends who are taking his side in all of this? OOP wrote back, not yet. People outside home are unaware of our divorce yet. We have not started our official splitting process. And we have very few mutual friends. At best, acquaintances. I am a pretty private and introverted kind of person, and my entire circle is from my university, teacher, and research students, and his circle is different. Next comment. This post seems so silly. Why would he go through a divorce and sever himself financially from a woman who makes more money than him and owns the home they live in just to nurse a sick woman who will pass away soon? Seems to me like he would just lie and sneak around behind his wife's back to spend time with the ex until she's gone and then pretend that it would never happen. He is such a fool. Seriously. His friends and family should berate him for being a total idiot. No need, you just did. OOP wrote back, because he can claim on many of our joint investments as he is doing now, even though the capital came from me. And people cheat after being married, after having kids. Why do they do that? Please go and ask them the question. If you get the answer, please tell me. Because I too am trying to figure out Why? Why on earth will a man cheat and cheat like that with zero visible regrets after being together for 1 decade? Why would he not think of my kids even? I did everything one can do as a spouse and a partner. I always bore the bigger part of family and financial responsibilities. So why? If only we knew. Why? Why do people cheat? We have a final update though. This final update came on Halloween, which was 5 days later. I filed for divorce today. I'm not falling apart. I'm functioning, working, raising my boys, but it's lonely. I've never been the kind of person who keeps a big circle of friends, and right now that silence feels heavier than usual. My parents are here, but they are with my kids right now, and how much can I burden them with my emotional turmoil? I just wanted to vent it somewhere. And that is it. Did this story surprise you guys? I honestly had no idea where it was going. I didn't think it was gonna be a divorce. I thought they might fight about it. Crazy. Let me know your thoughts, all right? I will see you in the comment section. Stay classy out there. Stay sassy. I'll see you tomorrow.